I love that drink. Hi, hello everyone, my name is Jer, and I am still upset they used Haley Duff's voice in the theatrical cut of What Dreams Are Made Of. We are talking about Dragula Titans Season 2, the Holiday of Horrors episode. Horror! The intro to this episode was camp, I tell you. And I love how silly the Boulets have been the last several seasons. I'm glad we get to see a little bit of that curtain peel back into more of who they are. So every single challenge up until now has been a rehash of an old challenge, which I love. I'm a big fan. But I was a little bit confused about the fact that they had both Jennifer Tilly and Dawn here, but did not do some type of doll challenge. I understand that they wanted to do filth, but I would have loved to have seen Garbage Pail Kids get redone. Because let's be real, that whole challenge was booger boots the first time around. Really only one person got it and did well, and that deserved a redo over what I think was already pretty successful with Holiday of Horrors. And I think maybe we could have held on to Holiday of Horrors for another season or two. Just give it some time to breathe. Because again, Garbage Pail Kids was boots. And I feel like with both the Chucky folks here, I feel like that would have been a more interesting set of deliberation. The Ghoulies find out in real time who is going to return. And I'm gonna complain now that I hate that the season keeps going back and forth. One episode is a ghostly gallows, and then the next one is an extermination challenge. I would love if they just did every single episode an extermination, and then you go up to the gallows and we all find out who gets eliminated right in that moment. This constant whiplash of, okay, this week we get to see exactly who's going home, but next week we gotta wait. It's an interesting bit of tension, but I just want consistency, and maybe that's my brain being spicy. Abora is first to walk in. They're all very happy about that. Going to the hospital is about as punk rock as you possibly could get, and Abora going to the hospital to essentially have almost nothing done, like no stomach pump, no medicine or anything, just went to be checked up on. Like it was already said by, I think, Cynthia, I'd probably just go to the hospital because I was bored and to start drama. Next in is Jaharia, and they're all very happy about that as well, as was I. I was holding my breath worried. We find out much later in the episode that Zava was breaking the rules and got disqualified, but I'm super curious what she did because I would have thought that Dahlia would have been the one to get disqualified. Pre-season, the Boulets said they were disqualifications, so who else is getting DQ'd? Unless it was a misspeak, but the Boulets very rarely misspeak. They're usually extremely concise. What I'll say about Jaharia this week is that she seems a little lost. She seems kind of trapped in her head, and I need her to get out of that. Unrelated, but Cynthia and Blackberry are still feuding. This fight took a little bit of a hiatus, but picked right back up in this episode. And it came kind of out of nowhere. I want to say, as someone who is a big fan of Cynthia, I think she is totally in the wrong here and is coming across a little crazy. She is the aggressor in this situation, and I feel bad for Blackberry. But I will say, Blackberry is handling herself extremely well and kindly. If someone came sideways at me like that, I would be yelling. It's also revealed in this moment that Jay was the one who told Jaharia that her outfit was cute. But Jay says, I didn't tell you it was cute. I said, you look cute. Like she was trying to be shady about it, like, girl, maybe you should take that off. But maybe she should have just been more honest with her friend. Because if your friend looks busted, you need to tell them. I had a little bit of a feeling last week that it was Jay, but I didn't want to speak on it because I was hoping it wasn't. And there is some drama that happens between Jay and Jaharia that made me not too happy. We'll get into that. The Boulets reveal that they will be doing the Holiday of Horror challenge and will have to commit an act of filth. Filth is one of those things that's super broad. You can either go in the most disgusting route possible where you're drinking from a mop bucket, or you do the most expected, boring, run-of-the-mill thing that everybody does where they pleasure themselves and finish on the stage. And I hate that. And it seems like with the Holiday of Horrors challenge, the brief is more about finding what is unique about your holiday, finding something that you could pull that's horrific from it, maybe even referencing a horror film that already exists in that universe, and then creating an act of filth from that. And the winner of this challenge will get to be featured in an upcoming Boulets Christmas special. That's really cool. What's not cool is that there's no fright fee. And during workshops, while Jay and Sigourney were having their moment, Blackberry just brushing that candle with nothing sent me to space. I love when reality show contestants are eavesdropping on drama, and so they do something to make it look like they have a purpose for being there, and they're sort of just like, But this fight came out of nowhere because I thought they patched things up a few weeks ago. Jay really wants to take out the hard hitters, which are Sigourney and Eva. He hasn't really specified how he intends to do that, but he wants to beat them and get them out so that he can win. I think it's kind of lousy strategy to reveal who your biggest competitor is and who you want to knock out, especially if you perceive them as a hard hitter who's probably not going to go home. They're a hard hitter for a reason. You don't want them as an enemy. But speaking of enemies, Jay tries to team up with Jaharia and pulls a pie with Asia saying, hey, let's team up to get the big dogs out of here. And they do this montage of the pinky promise while giving us an ominous foreshadow that Jaharia is not good about pinky promises. And that turns out to be such scalding tea because she immediately backstabs Jay behind his back and goes directly to Eva and Sigourney and says, hey, Jay wants to take you both out. To me, this rubbed me the wrong way. I love Jaharia and I totally understand playing the long game. This is a game about alliances and it's also a game about strategy, but also it's a game about audience perception. And I just didn't like that immediate betrayal. I would have much rather Jaharia said, this is not on my vision board to team up with you. It's not that I don't like you. I'm just doing my own thing and I have my own game and strategy that I'm playing. I'm probably not going to keep the secret. But to play this double crossing thing really just didn't make me feel good. And I think Jaharia thinks that Eva is going to help in some type of alliance carry her to the finale. Eva is out for Eva. I think Eva is going to team up with who she needs to team up with to get out constipators in the room, i.e. Dahlia or even Jay if Jay is coming at her too sideways. But I don't think Eva is going to be looking out for anybody else's interests except for hers. And I think in this moment, Jaharia made an unnecessary enemy, even if Jay doesn't know about it yet. All things that are in the dark will come to the light at some point in a competition. And Cynthia fighting with Blackberry once again made me super uncomfortable. Cynthia should understand that week one was an impossible situation, that nobody wanted to vote for someone on their team, but they all had to pick someone. And Cynthia was maybe the weakest in the group. It's not personal. Who else was she supposed to say? It's not like they could opt out of voting. And her yelling like a crazy person at Blackberry sets up Blackberry on an optics level in a bad position. See, if Cynthia, a white person, is coming at Blackberry, a black person, Blackberry has two options. Fight back and look like an aggressive black woman, or two, say nothing and come across weak. And this is honestly a place of privilege that a lot of white folks just don't think about, is that when they are going at somebody who is a person of color and they're agitating them, the optics of how the person of color responds is going to reflect more poorly on them than it will on the Caucasian person. That's just reality of society and that sucks. But Blackberry did two things that I thought was really impressive. One, she stood her ground and did not come across like a doormat and said, this is where I'm at, you're not listening to me, and if you're not going to, we're done talking. And then disengaged. That made me have so much empathy for Blackberry because she understands the optics of how this is all going to play on camera and that she is going to be the villain if she yells back, which is fucked up. And so I hope that there is some type of reconciliation that happens here because Cynthia is the aggressor and the wrong person in this situation. And again, it reflects an immense place of privilege that Cynthia can fight with Blackberry and essentially come across as the winner, because if Blackberry fights with her, it's going to look bad for Blackberry, not for Cynthia. Because this is a door and a conversation that needs to be opened about the privilege that white contestants have that people of color do not have. Moving to the runway, the Boulets looked slay once again as these fabulous witches. I love the orange pops that they've been doing all season. They look incredible. Every single week, even in weeks where they didn't like their costuming, they looked puss. And I loved that glitter turquoise lip they had. Again, I would have loved Garbage Pail Kids this week based on who we had as the judges, but Holiday of Horrors is the theme. Now, as every week has been, I will be ranking each one of the looks later on this week, so keep your eyes peeled for that. We'll do a really quick overview. A couple of these looks, I don't know if I can show them on YouTube because monetization purposes. Eva was giving Valentine's Day. It was kind of scary and lewd. It was a harpy, which I think was an interesting direction, but it was more D&D than it was holiday. And even though I liked the performance, it was so off topic and it wasn't filthy either, I felt like this was a bottom performance. Sigourney was Independence Day, but instead of hot dogs and the normal thing that we would expect from this, she's giving us Lady Liberty. It was all very glam in its own way, but Sigourney did something unexpected. she did not try to make herself look pretty and sexy. She went for something that was very different for what she does normally. That is commendable. My partner and I had a long conversation about this because I don't like acts of filth being sexual acts. I think it's tired, I think it's overplayed. In my opinion, sex is not a filthy thing, especially in queerness, where we're very hypersexual. I will say there is a lot of controversy about women's bodily autonomy and the way that women are perceived as sexual creatures. And so I understand Sigourney's performance and how it is very on topic for the current political climate. Priscilla was doing Father's Day for her Holiday of Horrors, and while I can really appreciate the dysmorphia that she probably went through by doing this look, the emotional dredging up of things that she probably didn't want to think about, I think that it was a little off topic for the challenge. I think Father's Day is a great place to go. I just don't know how you're supposed to connect that with horror and filth. And I don't think that the grave fucking really pitched the story. But I will say that My Beloved Son gave me chills, like actual full body chills. I don't know what else she could have done that look for, but I would have loved to have seen Priscilla do something else because filth is in her wheelhouse from what I remember. Cynthia was doing Valentine's Day. The heart with the spikes on it was a fun idea. It was a little more Venus flytrap than I felt was Valentine's Day, but I appreciated the sparkly visual interest of the look. I think this was maybe Cynthia's weakest of her package so far. Blackberry is doing Thanksgiving and low-key made me laugh harder than it probably should have. I was laughing so hard I couldn't breathe. And it wasn't supposed to be funny, it was supposed to be scary. But for the gamers out there, it reminded me of Kazooie when she turns into a dragon, but like eating food. When the table fell apart, I couldn't tell if that was intentional or not, which apparently it wasn't. I didn't care for it. I thought it was booger. Jay was doing Mardi Gras as a jester, and holy freaking crap, this was the coolest look of the entire night. Hands down, this should have won. I wrote in my notes topsy-turvy. The food performance was sick. The way that it just stretched all slime-like, the way that the vomit came out of the back, it was so cool. Disasterina went for Christmas and chose a Krampus route. I don't know if I can show this look either because of the multiple titties. I don't think it was as strong of a look as it could have been, and Disasterina seemed super out of her element, one, but also just seemed distracted this week for some reason. Abora is also doing Christmas and chose to do the treat. I was getting Doctor Who sci-fi references from this. I too thought it could have been Arbor Day before it came out. It was horrifying and cool in a lot of ways. I don't know if I got filth from it. In my fantasy, Abora won Gothic Bridal because I thought the looks and the performances for that was everything. This week, in my opinion, was JK's win. I think I would have redistributed the wins every single episode so far. Like I would have swapped Blackberry winning week 1 and then Eva winning last week. And then I would have swapped Jay and Abora's wins, personally. I will say the artistry was impressive. Jaharia is also doing Christmas, but chose to do an evil elf. This worked me out. I loved the colors and how they popped on the floor show. The attention to detail was the best part. And I love that she had Santa's head in her little bag. And this floor show all comes down to the little details. Some of the deliberations gagged me, like I didn't think that Sigourney was giving a high performance. I thought it was safe. I thought Eva should have been lower. Abora won, which I think was kind of ridiculous to me because this was very clearly Jay's week. And Cynthia, Disasterina, and Priscilla are the bottom 3. And only 2 of them will face the gallows. Now after last week's double elimination, I didn't think we were in for another one. But Titans 2 is speedrunning the trajectory that Thailand 2 took. Even down to one of the contestants being the Mocha Diva of this season and snitching on another contestant, only getting themselves in trouble in the long run. Again, I wish that each week was consistent with either gallows or an extermination, or both. Cynthia is safe from the gallows, and Disasterina and Priscilla are both sent. This is fucking awful because both of them get exterminated. And I already mentioned that if Disasterina went home, I was going to be so upset. When Priscilla got eliminated too, I was devoed. But when she started crying in her confessional, I knew something was up. They clearly cast too many ghouls and they had to get rid of them quick. But Priscilla, I really thought she was gonna be top 3. Like I thought she was gonna go all the way to the end. 2 double eliminations in a row is so Thailand 2 coded, but also what the fuck? What I also found odd was that the Boulets prepped the ghouls for the next challenge now, because it's going to be another field trip week. They'll be heading out to a ghost town, and I am so excited to see what happens. It's revealed that Zava was the one who was DQ'd. I cannot wait to find out what that was about. And Dahlia and Jade go head to head for the Hellbound Showdown. God, that's the hardest thing to say. I keep wanting to say like Hellbound, Spellbound, or like Hell Showdown. Like, it's such a tongue twister, I can't say it. Dahlia was doing Easter, which I thought was a huge slay, and as Jesus was, I think, everything. Now, the performance was a little mid. When they tripped a little bit, I'm like, she just lost it. But I liked the look of it. Jade was doing something. I was told on Bluesky that she was doing Groundhog's Day, but I didn't get that at all. Yes, it was filthy, completely down, but the look was off topic. So it's a lot like last week for me. Yeah, she performed well, but she didn't look vampiric at all. She didn't look like she was at a beach party at all. This week, she was filthy, but she did not look holiday at all. So I'm very confused why Jade won last week and this week. I honestly feel like the Boulets have so much reverence for Jade and love her drama so much that they're just pushing her through and are sort of blinded by their bias for her that it doesn't matter that she's off topic. They want to see her, so they're gonna push her forward. Because ultimately it was just Taylor Swift as a bug-eating zombie or something. I'm hoping that Priscilla will stomp her next week. I don't have any hope that Disasterina will, but I'm hoping that Priscilla does. And I am wondering, with 3 contestants participating next week, are they eliminating 2 of them? Or will they only eliminate 1? Also, the way the Boulets kept talking about conjuring up spirits, it did make me wonder if maybe the 3 of them return next week, and then the Ghoulies get to decide which one of them will come back. Because here's the thing, the Boulets seem very competition focused first. Normally what Drag Race does when they bring back a contestant is edge them out through the entire competition and then bring them back near the end of the season. But coming back after missing so many challenges is kind of unfair. You didn't have to deal with all the things that everyone else did. You missed out on some critical pieces of the show. Yes, the competitors are doing the challenges, but it would be super unfair if Jade or even Loris came back near the end of the season after missing so much of what already happened, even if they participated in the light versions of the floor show. It would make more sense to me if the Boulets brought someone back at the midpoint of the competition so that they got to see a little bit more of what they could give and say, all right, we've seen that maybe we sent you home in episode too soon. Here's another shot, rather than drag that out to the end. But we'll see, maybe I'm completely off topic. But this constant regurgitation of the word conjuring up spirits made me wonder if maybe that's what's going to happen next week. What did y'all think about this episode? Let me know in the comments below, and check out later on this week when I rank each one of the looks. And if you have the means, please check out the Extravaganza Extra membership, where you can watch some of my posted videos a few days sooner than everyone else. Thank you for watching, and I will see y'all on the flip.